Hi guys, welcome back to another weekly forecast video for the week of August 19th August 20th to the 24th, 2018. Just getting back. I was away for about a week and a half on a little vacation. I was kind of in and out of the charts a little bit, and I put up a few items on our chat room and some commentary here and there, but for the most part, I've actually been out, just kind of relaxing and enjoying a little bit of a break from the markets and from the daily grind. So I'm finally back at it here for the start of this week. I'll be in front of the charts for the rest of this week, for the rest of the month, and of course going into September. I'm going to keep it light though. I don't. We're still in summer months, so keep that in mind in terms of trading and volume and everything else. Now, Forex markets obviously being one thing, they're quite heavily traded, but commodities and everything else, I probably wouldn't be putting any major positions on until after Labor Day weekend, until things kind of set a direction and away you go. But with that being said, I'm just going to do a real quick look ahead here for the week coming up for the 20th to the 26th and see where we're at. In terms of news, not a whole ton of action on Monday. Some medium impact news, and then there's some Australian Governor Lowe speaking and monetary policy meeting minutes. So there could be a little bit of action on Aussie, and I've got a trade idea that's coming up here that I'll just briefly discuss as well on Aussie. But for the most part, pretty low impact. There's an FOMC meeting member speaking at 11 a.m. So we could kind of get an extended move if he has anything significant to say. Tuesday, same thing, very, very light action, and then some pound sterling news, and again, some more Australian news. We could see some movement on Tuesday. They like to do that. They like to not have a lot of like days like these where there's a medium impact news event or two, and you think nothing much is really going to happen, and that's when they really move the markets quite a bit. So we'll see what happens on Tuesday. Again, I got a couple of trade ideas I think are going to pan out this week, so I'll go through those here in a minute. Wednesday, we've got some Canadian dollar news, and of course, crude oil inventories come out. And then going into Thursday, we got a whole smattering of Euro news, medium impact news, French, German, flash manufacturing PMI, etc., etc. So we'll probably see a lot of movement for sure on Thursday. And then Friday, we've got core durable goods, and Fed Chair Powell is speaking. So we could see some movement again later on in the day on Friday, an extended session on Friday. So for the news part of things, it's fairly light. A couple of, on Wednesday, I missed this on Wednesday. Sorry, guys, I just saw this now. After crude oil inventory numbers on Wednesday, we've got FOMC meeting minutes later on in the day. So again, it might be a couple of days this week where we could have extended movements in the durations throughout the trading day. So just watch out for those. But again, fairly light news events for the week, nothing too major. So going into the charts, I obviously, as you can see, I'm on a US dollar. I'm on the monthly. We were trading in this range here for about the past 3 months, and we've finally broken out of that. Ran price up to 96.85, and since I've traded a bit softer. So I'll just kind of dial it in here a little bit. Go back down to the daily. Price reached up last Wednesday of last week, created the high, and then reversed Thursday, Friday. We saw two big down days on Friday. Thursday, Friday, to cap off the week. And so far, price at the time of this recording, it's Sunday my time, but it's just it's 1 a.m. New York time, Monday morning, Eastern Standard Time. So we're just seeing a little bit of a bullish move up so far to start the week out. If I go down to the 15, actually, you can see down in here, this 9,600 level, so far they haven't wanted to come back down and take that level out. So I think ultimately the big one here was this area, these two equal lows under here. The stops were run under here just late on Friday. The last 2 hours of trading on Friday ran out those lows, and it actually ran those stops by about 5 pips, I believe was the exact 3, 4, yeah, just about 5 pips. They did a stop run on that, and since then it's been trading stronger. So if this is indeed the low of the week, then this 9600 level that you see on the 15-minute chart that I've got this line on right here, if that is the low, that they were just coming down to run those stops under those two equal lows right here, then this 9600 level shouldn't get traded back down to and traded through at all. They should just keep continuing to move price away, if that is indeed their move, to eventually run this thing higher. Now, on the daily, or sorry, on the weekly, we just touched into this consolidation level right in here. So if the ultimate move is bullish, then we should start seeing price break above and break back into this consolidation range and push through it. And then ultimately, I'd be looking for these lows in here to get retested from this consolidation level at 98.30, you could call it. So that would be, and it doesn't necessarily have to happen this week or next week, but that's where I think ultimately they're going to want to go. As you can see here, so far this August candle, this is back to the monthly, nice big bullish candle, finally breaking out of this consolidation range, and I think we could see some more upside, but we'll have to wait and see. We are nearing the end of August again. Keep in mind Labor Day weekend, which is a big holiday. A lot of money sits on the sidelines until after Labor Day, and so that's coming up here in about 3 weeks. So just keep that in mind. Keep your volume light, or your risk light, and just take it easy, because the market could still do anything. But I'm looking for higher prices ultimately. Now, they may want to come back down, but ultimately they could come down to 95.40. I'm just saying they could want to come down and sort of bounce off of this level down here and then continue higher. I personally think, though, that the purpose of these equal lows in here was just for them to come back down, run all the stops in here, and they're probably going to run price away right off the bat. Now, I don't believe it's going to just go straight higher and start smashing out old highs or anything like that. But I definitely think that this 9600 level, this big figure level here, I think that's probably going to be the low as it sits right now anyway. And if they do want to come lower than they're on the week, the other scenario that could happen is they're just going to run this price up to right around here. I'll put a price tag on it here. This is the other scenario. I think it's a little bit less likely, but this 96.15 level, somewhere in around here, on the upside, they could run it up there, stall it, and then drop it if ultimately they want to come back down and retrade off of these old levels in here. But honestly, I think if the ultimate goal is higher, they'll probably leave this area untraded, and they'll want to just run it out. And I personally believe that if they wanted to go lower, they'd probably just start running lower right off the bat here, and it hasn't been doing that. So I guess what I'm trying to say here, to try to give this a quick wrap up, is I'm looking for higher prices on the week. We ran these lows in here on Friday, and since then price has been springboarding off of that, starting into early trading on Monday here. If price goes lower than 95.80, so if price comes down and breaks 9600, they may be holding off on taking out these highs for a little bit. And if price comes all the way down to this 95.80 level, which is why I've got it on the chart here, then you can pretty much bet that they're going to want to come back down and retrade into this consolidation level. For whatever reason, they may want to come back down, chop it in here a little bit, maybe come under here and take these stops under here and then go higher, and which could take them a couple of weeks to do. I don't know, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. If this is the line in the sand here, 95.80, if this gets breached, I'm not going to be bullish on short term on dollar. I'd be bearish on dollar for the rest of the month, and then we'll see how September starts lining up. But I think there's a whole lot more upside to go with the U.S. dollar, which is why I'm kind of calling 9600 there as the low of the week, and we'll probably see this thing start to run. So if that's the case, if we are looking for higher prices, obviously we're looking for the exact opposite in Euro USD, which you can see here. And same thing, line in the sand, 115.05 basically would be the level I'd be looking at for them. If they want to go any higher than that, then they'll probably want to trade back up in this consolidation range again, and that's obviously going to be, cancel out the bearish ideas on Euro USD. So if price doesn't bounce here. And you know, the other thing they could do as well is this 114.20 level. 114.20. I'll just get an even level on here. So they're trading down to that pretty much right now at the time of this recording. If price springboards above that and does something like this, for instance, like it just comes down to, you know, 114.20 or, you know, thereabouts, and then wants to springboard off and run higher short term, I'd basically be looking for price to hold off at the 114.90 level. You know, basically, and I got it on the chart here. I just gotta pull it up. This guy right here. I wouldn't want to see them go any higher than this price tag right here at 150. Call it 115.10. That would be the absolute line in the sand for me. If they wanted to run higher than 115.10, then they're probably going to want to jam prices back up into this consolidation range. So, again, line in the sand on US dollar, 95.80. Line in the sand, Euro USD, 115.10. If they want to go higher than that, and that's basically 90, 100 pips higher than what we're currently trading right now. If they start pushing up into there, then they may not want to get bearish real quick off the bat yet. They might want to be, there may be some levels in here that they need to come back up and recapitalize. So, however, if 142.20 gets broken and they don't have any willingness to come above this line here, then I believe we'll be targeting all of the stops for sure down here. Whoops, get this guy right here. So on the day, for a day trade going into like Tuesday, for instance, I'd be looking for these lows to get capitalized, which would be a nice little healthy trade of about 50 pips or so to get run out. That could even happen on Monday here today, but if I'll be watching this level here to see if this gets broken, and if we do see lower prices from in there, then we'll see this getting traded too. And they've done a good job of same thing here. There's equal lows here. There's equal lows over here. So they've done a good job of building in positions where people are resting their stops from last week's trading, from last week's Wednesday low, and then the reversal Thursday, Friday. Those are all beautiful targets for this week for price to come down and recapture. So that's what I'll be looking at for on Euro. Similar idea onto cable. Cable, what I was actually looking at, they've done a nice job at formulating some nice highs in here. They've come up and pushed up into create this interim high here, a failure swing here, and then come up here and 1, 2, 3, 4 times, 5, 6 times in here, tried to come up and take this out, level out right here. This is exactly what I'm looking for, is a run above these equal highs in here, and price not to trade any higher than 127.65 is sort of what I'm looking for. I'd be looking for a run up to this level, but if they start cruising past 127.65 and they want to start re-challenging this guy in here, then they may want to take it back up into this level here, and then I'm not really interested in it. And I'm not interested in going long on the pound, and the reason is, obviously, you know, big reason here. I'm not interested in going long on that. So, you know, its prices come down in here, stabbed down, created a low, and done a nice little retracement here. I'm looking for just that quick little move above. You know, this is about a 10 pip stop run up to 127.65, and I'd be looking at picking up some shorts there. Now, again, if price goes higher than that, and I'd only give it about 30 pips, so about 127.95. You know what, you could even call it 12800. If price wants to go any higher than 12800, I'm not necessarily going to be very interested in this one. So just keep that in mind. That could be a nice little trade idea going into Monday, Tuesday here for the cable. So, and then ultimately, right, the same thing as what the euro did is they built in a lot of, you know, a lot of equal lows in here. Got a couple equal lows right in here. Basically just building up stops, areas where retail traders are able to put their stops in nicely, and I think those are just going to be targets on the downside. Ultimately, longer term, I believe this, see this low rate down here at 125.85. We could see that or lower if we do have a good runner this week. If we do see price start to really push south, we could see those levels getting hit. It may hit, it may not. It may take another week or two to get that. But I think that's ultimately where we could be going on the cable as well in terms of downside target range. And that would give us, if we got an entry at 127.65, target on that, if you wanted to hold for the weekly range, about 200 pips. So that would be a great range on the week if you could capture that. And just real quick, I had some ideas here on Canadian dollar. We do have some news on Canadian dollar coming out Monday first thing, and then a couple of higher impact news events, core retail sales on the Canadian dollar on Wednesday, plus crude oil inventory. So we could see some action happening on here. Now, what I've noticed on Canadian dollar is we're failing to make higher highs. So price came in, double topped, came back up in here, had a failure swing, ran down one more time, and then a real brief retrace higher, and it's failed to get any higher than this in here. And so far it's been consolidating. Well, I'm kind of looking at this saying that they've come in here and they're creating these lows in here, and we may just do a real quick sweep of these lows, and then we could be pushing higher. And my ultimate target is higher into here, but long term, I think the 136.40 level could be on tap here for the fall, and that's a good 600 pips away. So I mean, not going to happen in a day or two. That could take a few months to transpire, but I think that's where we're heading. And you can see how price is nicely running higher and higher and higher on Canadian dollar, but they're with the launch of the US dollar just in the past week here, obviously you can see it's taking out all these old highs, taking out these recent highs. Canadian dollar, go to the daily, we had one run out on the highs back in June, and since then it's failed to capitalize on those highs. I think they're just basically holding price off, and then they're going to start skirting this thing higher. So we could see easily a 300 pip run in the next little while on that. So I'm going to be watching CAD, and I think there could be a little more downside on it. I'm going to get rid of these day dividers just to kind of show you what I'm thinking here. This low here, they failed to get lower than this low, so I think what they're going to do is they're going to come run it up here and then push it down one more time. And we'll see if they want to violate this low here. If they don't want to come down lower than this low, then I'd be looking for them to capture price somewhere in this neighborhood in here. Call it 130.25, somewhere in and around this level here on the low side. And then we could see them looking at reversing price and running higher from there. So that's kind of what my formulation on US CAD is going forward for the next little while. So we'll be watching that this week, and we could even see this low come running out here Monday with the low impact news events, and if not Monday, then I think for sure by Wednesday. So we'll be watching for that. And then lastly, I'm not gonna Aussie dollar. There was a trade idea on Aussie dollar, and this is basically, long story short, if we do see a run up, there's some news on Aussie dollar. There's two high impact news events going into late Monday evening, monetary meeting, policy meeting minutes, and Governor Lowe is speaking. So we could see an artificial move higher up to the 73.45 level. Not too far away. It's only about 40 pips. But I would expect, if we do see continued bullishness on the US dollar, which we're starting to see now, then it should spike the Australian dollar back down, and we could retake the lows under here. So this artificial move higher, would be kind of, and we're actually running into these lows in here right now. It looks like that's providing some sort of resistance on price. So we'll see what that those news events want to do, if they want to just quickly spike it above and then roll it over from there. But these lows would be what I'd be targeting on the downside. And that's only, again, that's only if we see continued bullishness on the US dollar. And finally, crude oil. This market, as I had been saying for a very, very long time, when price was screaming up here and starting to sell off, I think that 63.30 level was going to get hit. It got tagged last week here. Where are we? 64.30. So price, as you can see, came in and tagged that level very, very nicely. So far it's bounced, but I believe we're going to see lower prices. If price runs out this low, so here's the thing. If price breaks 64.30, we're probably going to come down. We're going to challenge the 63.50 level. And if that gets run out, then, I mean, there could be no stopping this thing. It could easily run into the low 60s. And I've actually been calling this level under here for quite some time. When price made this, came down here and ran up and consolidated in here and then pushed up from here, I was hoping to see a run down under these levels in here on this swing. We didn't get it, and price kept continuing to push higher. But there's a lot of stuff right now that's happening in crude oil and everything else, and I'm not going to get into that on there, but just going to try and keep this idea short. If 64.30 gets breached, I'll be looking for this low to get run out. And if this low gets run out, then we'll definitely be looking for this low here. And then these lows in here are kind of the next levels that I'll be looking at. And I've been calling this is pretty much a 60 level, high 59, 60, somewhere right in and around there. That's kind of the levels I'll be looking to see if price wants to get down into and tag out. So that's pretty much about it on the week ahead here. I'll be on the charts, like I say, for the week, watching price with you guys. I'll be posting lots of charts and a few signals as I see the setups coming in here, and we'll go from there. So hopefully it should be a pretty good week of trading. Remember, keep it light, because we are still technically in summer trading months here, and the markets really could do anything. So with that, I'll be back again too. I'll be doing a live session for London Open about 24 hours from now, going into Tuesday. So you can watch for that. I'll post the links on that. Dave won't be around this week. He'll be back after Labor Day, and you can watch for his events coming then. And so I'll just be basically doing 2 live sessions a week going forward until after Labor Day. So the same times, usually London Open on Tuesday, and then either London or New York Open on Thursday, just depending on kind of what news events are coming up. And if there's something good on Wednesday, I might jump on as well too. So we'll just kind of see how things pan out. But anyway, hope you guys all have a great week of trading, and we'll catch up to you on Tuesday for London Open.